watch. No. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comedy Cellar Tuesdays with me, Dave Juskow, and Mike Suarez. Lovely to see you this March of 2025, the first Tuesday in March. So nice to see everybody. Kind of cold outside, but it's getting better. It's been a rough winter for me, personally, Dave Juskow, because I guess I'm old and I'm cold all the time. I guess it's time for me to move to Florida. I get it now. But anywho, they're filming a big movie downstairs at the Comedy Cellar, so there's actually no shows in the original room tonight. However, it's such a banner evening here at the Cellar anyway. That's what you get at the Comedy Cellar, that at the Fat Black Lounge at 8 o'clock tonight, this is the lineup. It's Little Danny Natterman, Emma Willman, Ryan Hamilton, Greer Barnes, and Sam Morrell, hosted by the great Matt Richards. That's a quality show. That's the full lineup. Normally, I give you the lineup with the people I don't like in it. I leave them out. But that is the full lineup of everybody I actually enjoy. And at 11:30 tonight, which would normally be at the McDougal Street, it is at the Village Underground, because they're shooting a big movie here, as they often do at the Cellar, because the Comedy Cellar is the best comedy club in the country. How about this lineup? Chris Redd from Saturday Night Live, David Tell, and Ronnie Chang is in town, and it's hosted by the great Will Savence. So how about that? And in the Las Vegas room, Eddie Ift this week with our friend, of course, Mark Coco Cohen. So very exciting goings on at the Comedy Cellar. It's a great time to be here. It's a great time to be alive. So nice to see everybody in the chat room, although a week late. And Marcy, hope you're doing okay. I don't know what's up with you. You always have some sort of issues. You do? Anonymous loves David, Tell, and Ronnie. In that order? You love everybody. That's rude. And Anonymous is here, and it's just nice to see everybody. So let me go no further than to introduce my guest this evening. She is a comedian who I only met a week ago. Please welcome Shovan Davey. And it's big problems with her last name and my first name and David Tell's name, and well, you do talk about it on stage, right? Because I was hosting the show you were on, and I just kept thinking you were. I'm like, wait, does she need me?
Yeah, no, it's no, you. Oh, it's Davey spelled like Dave.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but it's been a life problem, so may as well talk about it on stage.
Well, my first name has been a life problem.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I've never liked it. My coffee name at Starbucks is Julian. Because it's just much easier. Hello, Barry. Thank you. Good evening, Professor J. I like that. Mm-hmm. And I've just never liked Dave because everybody has it. So it was weird that the first person I met in comedy was David Hell. Really annoying. And but
does it bother him?
I don't think it does. And the weird part is everybody calls the two of us by our last names.
Right.
No one calls him David. I mean, I do, but and he calls me David, but mostly people call him Attell, and they call me Juskow, and that's just so it is kind of interesting that because David's just there's so many.
Did you catch in my set that my husband's name is Dave too?
Yes, I did. I forgot about. I knew there was so much Daves going on. It was driving me crazy.
It's irritating. Yeah.
So here's the thing with Shivani, and she's so we were at that Don't Tell Mama show that I told you about last week, and also we're doing the show differently this week, where the two of us are sitting on the same side of the table.
I'll show them.
Oh, yeah. So it's a little weird. So I'll be turning to her to talk, but it looks better, as Mike has told us, when we cut it down.
You're facing each other in the camera now.
Yeah, I was just letting you know this is the first time we've done it this way. It's a little awkward. So Shivani and I met. We were doing that Don't Tell Mama show, and as I usually quote it, the stupid Don't Tell Mama show. And I got reamed from the person that put it together what's her name?
Deborah.
Deborah. Oh my God. I was talking to her today and I forgot. This is a senior moment. And on my podcast, I was like, oh, there's all these girls. I don't know them. It's going to be a horrible show. And and apparently she sent, I don't know whether she sent it to you. She sent all the women on the show, my podcast, saying this. Did you get it?
I caught it. I ignored it.
Yeah. Were you mad?
I was just like,
Yeah, who the fuck is this?
I
guy?
said,
Yeah.
what? He's never seen me. So how does he know?
Yeah. And
know?
mostly you should say, I've never seen him.
Yeah.
So who the fuck is this guy? Exactly.
I had heard of your name and through the grapevine, but I, of course,
That's pretty rude, right?
Yeah. But I was like, whatever, I'm going to still do my set.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my job.
So I'm such a comedy snob. And technically, why shouldn't I be? I do know the best of the best. So I say to Deborah, if I don't know them, if I have never seen their names before, they're not very good. This is the way I live my life, in a bubble of some sort, like an idiot. And the problem was, she was like, you got to invite people. You got to invite people. I'm like, I don't want to invite people to a show I don't know anybody on besides Al Lubell, who just says his name. I'm like, I don't know if I feel comfortable.
I went up after him.
The last one had my friends like Alon and Olga, so I knew they were good, so I didn't mind inviting people. And I'm not trying to be rude. I mean, I'm rude already, but the whole thing is rude. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to invite my friends. Thanks, Barry. The best, Jerry. So go figure. I mean, not go figure, but it's always a pleasant surprise. So I met them, and you've seen bad comedy before, right? And there's a lot of it out there. But you and you were the best. You were great. First of all, the best part of the story is, if you heard in my podcast this week where I gave her a retraction, you haven't heard it. I took it all back. I was the worst one on the show. I almost ruined the show by my horrible opening that no one was laughing. It was a tough crowd after that woman claimed I was an anti-Semite, which was really weird. A very weird way to start off the show. Remember, she's like, stop doing Jewish humor. And I'm like, that's my entire act.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
It's because you had that soot on your upper lip.
Yeah. So, so I was the worst one on the show. And Shivani was just meeting her. Sometimes when I met Alon Altman, do you know him?
Very quickly.
A little bit.
We've met.
I just met him and I liked him right away. Kind of the way I felt about you.
Thank you.
There's the people that you meet where, like, we met the piano player the month before who was on the show.
Okay, got
and
it.
He was a dick. Like, and he's like, I'm like, what I do, let me tell you about what I do. And right there, there's a problem with somebody,
that's
like,
annoying.
like if you were just like, I play everywhere and I kill everywhere. And you've definitely met people like that before, right? So you weren't obviously like that. You seem normal and cool. I do like that you were Indian because I am from Edison, New Jersey. So
yeah, would like to talk about that. Yeah.
But no, you were very nice. And then it's all a matter of like, God, I hope she's funny on stage. And you were, thank God. And like, what do I care? And what does it matter? But again, I'm a comedy snob and everybody was terrific. Everybody was better than me. Everybody was very nice and very funny. And I just always assume no one's listening to my podcast, so I just always just say
I would have never known if it wasn't sent to me, but I also really didn't overthink it, and I just was like, whatever. I'm still just it's a show, so hey, it's okay. We're here now. I think you made up for it.
I hope so. I don't know. I asked you to be on the show immediately. Well, because also you're interesting. Not only were you funny, but I think you told me in advance, but then you talk about it on stage that used to be. I don't want to say tennis pro, but were you on the circuit for a while?
I got a full scholarship, played Division I tennis at
That's
University of Illinois. I think I was wearing some type, not this, but a different jacket that actually said Illinois.
Oh, that's what it was.
And you caught it. I'm surprised you actually caught it. It was like dark back there. And then
the fighting.
And I just fighting Illini.
I couldn't pronounce it right.
Yeah. And yeah, you caught it. I was surprised because it's like a little bit of a vintage warm-up suit jacket I just found, and I love wearing it now. So
and you're wearing one today.
This
too.
is
why are you always representing? So people will ask, so you can tell them.
But you wouldn't know.
I happen to be a big tennis player. What? How would I not know that's Illinois? I know that's Illinois. I knew right away.
Okay, well, you know sports though. Some people.
Well, yes.
A lot of people don't.
That's a problem. So
so this one can be kind of subtle, and
I'd forgotten that you went to the University of Illinois. I'm like, why is she wearing that Illinois jacket? So it's kind of funny that you love representing your
through
alma
2
mater.
jackets. So
Well,
I
it's
don't
just
wear.
funny,
Yeah.
I've seen you at both.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
that's what
true.
so you got a full ride
hmm
to Illinois for tennis.
Yeah, I did.
That's so cool. I
And
don't know whether you know. Well, no, why would you know? It's the stupidest thing I've ever said. And I've said some stupid stuff on this show. Anonymous just said I played high school tennis. So I also played high school tennis
Okay.
and loved it and really wanted to pursue it. But it turned out I preferred musical theater instead.
Yeah.
So I left. But yeah, in high school, my first year of high school, I was playing on the team.
Okay. In
And
Edison.
That's right.
Yeah.
Before there were 3. There
Yeah.
were 3 Indian people.
It's just
And
yeah.
I even remember their names. It was Bhupendra Patel, Dinesh Swami. Third was a girl. She was so pretty and she was brilliant at track. I think she beat me a couple times. It's so embarrassing as a guy.
Good for her.
I know. Yeah, she was like the captain.
Women putting you in your place. This is great.
Since I was born.
Good.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think I've always been. It's funny. I don't know whether you think I was being sexist in the sense of like these women. It just happened to be. I guess it was, but all my comedy friends are women, so like it's just never been an issue for me. But it certainly came off that way.
I mean, yeah, not a great first impression for me,
Like-
but I mean, it's fine. We got past it.
Yeah.
I think that's why I love comedy, because at that point it's like I got to just go up and do my thing. And that's when stand-up can kind of be a meritocracy a little bit. You're like, there's nothing I got up and did my set. So that's it.
Yeah,
It is
and
what
your
it
set
is.
is so great because it's different because you play tennis, and that's a big. And you talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta.
and I love it because then finally we have something different.
Yeah,
because
It's a big part of my life.
You
Yeah.
know, it's very. What is there left to talk about? In comedy. My
Right.
girlfriend broke up with me. I don't know what I'm gonna. It's a real fucked up situation, man. I don't know.
It's just, yeah. So I don't know. That was an interesting crowd.
It's
I think-
definitely an interesting crowd. I think it was all that girl's friends, the blonde girl, who produces the show.
Oh,
It was
okay.
all
Got
of
it.
her friends.
Okay.
She's a little off. So it would make sense that most of her friends were off, like that guy with the bun.
And
the
that's what
surfer
helped. I
dude.
kind of went after him during my set.
No,
a
you were
little bit.
excellent.
Yeah, he was just
Did
like
some
answering
quality
every
crowd
question.
work.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, what are you going to do in that moment? I was like, you're interrupting everything. And so, but I don't know if you remember, I whispered to you right before you went up, I noticed there was a guy stage left that had a MAGA hat on.
Yes, you told
But
me that.
when you went up, he took it off and then he didn't put it back on. So, because I was keeping a lookout for it just in case.
Yeah, that's so strange. In that place of all places,
I was
this cabaret, legendary gay club,
Hell's Kitchen.
to wear a
Yeah.
mega hat is weird. So that crowd was weird, and it was different than the crowd from last time. But
Yeah, and then I
they
think
turned out to be good thanks to
Yeah.
you guys. I mean, pretty much you turned the show around because you were like second or third. So, Al Lubell, by saying his name a couple times, it wasn't helpful.
just a different energy.
yeah.
Yeah. We have different
And
energies.
then
Yeah.
you kind of bought the show to where so everybody else did good. You technically hosted the show and did what I was supposed to do and get the crowd going. When you got on stage, people really liked you. They liked your vibe, and you did and they were laughing. And I was just like, see, now this is how it's supposed to be done. I look like an asshole.
It's all right. It was a fun crowd. They were quirky and they needed to be put in their place just a tad. So it was fun.
Yeah,
It was really
which
fun.
you did. So,
Yeah.
so let's find out about you.
Yeah.
I love having. Now, I hope this isn't right. I know nothing about you. You're not just starting out. Didn't you tell me you've been doing it for like 7 years?
I've been doing it for a few years. I was writing screenplays and pilots. We can get into it. I used to work in corporate America in the healthcare industry before all the stand-up stuff. So I think we talked about it very quickly, but you're like, what did you study in college? I studied finance. And
What did I study?
You were asking me.
Oh, I
yeah,
did, yeah.
you were so like I studied finance and marketing. I am Indian, so I do need to go get a job.
Well, your
If you-
parents
Yeah, they
forced
want.
you to do it
they-
because you have to have a backup.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Any Asian person knows that is the way it is.
My dad wanted me to be like Maria Bartoloma, the woman who's a financial advisor, but now she's a quack. Yeah, so
Oh, she's a quack now?
kinda. I mean,
That's
she's a
on
little-
CNBC or something?
yeah,
right?
she was CNBC, and I think she's Fox now,
Oh, okay.
and she just kind of yells now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, is that right? I haven't.
But
I was watching her during COVID, and then I had lost track of.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess that's why.
But yeah, Learn to Earn was put on my desk in high school. Peter Lynch, everything was. He wanted. My dad was a big. So I say finance. I worked at Johnson and Johnson in New Brunswick, New Jersey, right out of college.
Me?
I know, and then I ended up in LA, San Francisco I worked in digital health and health tech, and
So for your job, you went around.
yeah, and I worked at a if you recall, I don't know if you followed the story of Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos.
Of course.
I was in very close quarters to that industry because basically I was talking to companies at the time that were trying to compete with her when she was doing very well.
So you didn't.
I didn't
know
work
what
for
was
Theranos,
happening, right?
but I knew how well when I was in Silicon Valley, I
you
knew
didn't
how
think
well it was
any.
doing.
You didn't think there was any nonsense going on there.
Well, it's a pretty miraculous pitch, right? Like one drop of blood. It's a great vision. One drop
Right.
of blood, 200 different blood tests. You're out in a minute or two. That's pretty crazy. So everyone's like, what is this?
Yeah.
But the problem was no one had validated if it worked. And that's where it became a big issue. Of course, some people know that story, but I worked my butt off in that industry, ended up in Boston, New York. And when I finally moved to New York City, I started doing sketch writing at Magnet Theater. I started writing there and was always writing screenplays and then started stand-up. Yeah.
So you're married. No, you don't care if people mention that, right? I mean,
No, that's fine. Yeah, I already said I'm married to a Dave.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So when you left college, did you get married right after college?
No, I met my husband Dave at the end of college.
And let me just say that, right, folks, she's married. Sometimes, just because she's pretty is not the reason I had her on, because they complain to me all, because I usually.
If that was the case, I would walk out right now. Yeah.
Yeah, she's married. This is a professional thing, you son of a, you know how it is. But when you left college, were you playing tennis in college? Did you have to because you were on the scholarship?
I mean, well, that's how you're on a full ride. It's basically like a 4 to 5 year scholarship. They give you like 1 year extra in case you get injured. That's like your that extra year. And so, yeah, you have to, if you don't play, it's
right. That's what I was
rescinded.
going to
Yeah.
say, but it sounded like you were doing more business than tennis.
I was a student athlete. I mean, the
Were you
tennis
never
program,
planning to go off after college?
I think you got to make that you got to make that decision almost pre-college. You got to be like ready to drop out. And so I was on the men's tennis team. We were like top 20, top 30 in the nation. So still very good, but
that was before Illinois was part of the Big Ten, right?
No, they were part of the
Big Ten. Were.
This is before like Rutgers and all these random ass schools.
Yes.
Sorry for
no,
for
it's
swearing.
okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was.
Yeah, now
that.
it's like big what?
So they were always part of the Big Ten. Then Rutgers and Maryland joined.
Maryland, what is Nebraska in it too?
Yeah,
yeah,
but
those were never
new, right?
That's, yeah.
Okay, and
So,
now
truly the Big
it's
Ten. Where
now
it's all
USC, UCLA, Oregon, they're all in the Big Ten. Now it's the Big 14. No, it's like 20.
It doesn't make because before it was just like you're just truly the Midwest, right? It's all the Big Ten. Besides the farthest
Penn State,
right. Yeah. So no, I mean, being a student athlete in a Big Ten school like that was so intense. So like yes, I was studying in the business school, but the tennis program, they don't care. They don't care if you have an engineering major or finance major. The tennis program is just as intense. It was very difficult.
And you used to travel all the time.
Traveling,
too, right?
and you're missing.
Oh, like
school.
you said, the furthest you had to go was Penn State.
Yeah.
Do they fly you and stuff?
It would change. Like 1 year we drove to Penn State, and then on the way back played Ohio State.
Did the men get flown? You know why I'm
similar.
asking. I mean, there is a thing about
Yeah, and then 1 year we did fly, so it was a mix because we do fly to California and Florida and do stuff. So
I mean, is that? Can I just? I don't know, and I've never talked to really anybody in college sports. Is it? Do you get treated well, like when you're going from college to college, like on a plane? Is it a nice plane? Is it a private plane?
Oh no, I mean we're not a basketball or football team, right? We're not a high profile sport making money. Like those are the two sports that probably make money for the
Yeah,
they actually
make a lot of money.
Or you can show up, regardless if it's a men's tennis, you can still show up to a men's tennis match and not pay. So we had a great, we're a Nike sponsored school, everything clothing free. You're on the scholarship. It's your,
cool.
you're working so hard that they treat you in a way so you can sustain your life. Like, that's why, I mean, but I'm taking all my classes are at 8 o'clock, 9, 10, because I have conditioning at 6 a.m.
Oh my God.
Then I'm going to school class, and then you got practicing afternoon. And then, so my freshman year, my first semester was I would go home and cry because I would be finally done with tennis and still have to go study.
And there's no
And-
weekend partying because that's when you have all your
So-
matches.
and we had
probably, right?
48-hour rules, which were really like, you don't want to be hungover for a tennis match. You,
No,
you
of
don't want to
course
piss
not.
off the coach. You want to perform yourself. So and I kind of adhere to that same kind of rule in stand up too, because it's just how
See,
it feels.
that's not the proper rule, or at least it wasn't in the 80s when we started.
Right. So I just like, my rule in stand up is I wait till I'm done with my get my
Well, now
my
I do
sets
that,
till
but
the
that's
end.
why nobody's ever heard of me before, because I just started doing it.
You just got it. Yeah, you just went off the
Finally
rails.
figured it out.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, like I said, I like Maker's Mark. I like a good beer. But 48-hour rule. So me and my
It's okay,
teammates,
right? I told you.
me and my teams, we party on like a Tuesday night. Like that was
Yeah.
our thing.
Oh, that's
Joe's
fun.
90s night.
Because you
Yeah.
have to.
That's
You're
what
in
you
college.
have, and you got to party.
It would be a major bummer. Like, why? It's like, wait, if this is going to be our lives and we're just going to be tennis people, like, and we don't party and let steam off, I don't want to live this life.
No, and it was fun because you're going out as a team. You're like, either you won, maybe you lost. You're like pissed, but you're excited.
Oh, that
And we
sounds
would
perfect.
I mean, athletes would say like, we're very good at binge drinking because we have that one night.
Yeah.
So we would just, we know
That's
how to binge drink, and then I don't know. It's not great.
No,
but
it
it's good.
sounds
It's fun.
great, actually.
It's fun to have it with your team. Yeah.
As gay as this is, I used to do a TV show in college because I was not an athlete. You probably didn't realize it after you saw the way my body is, but after we would film every Saturday, it took discipline. Everybody would party and we'd film this TV show
Okay.
all day every Saturday, and then we go out drinking. You
Yeah.
know, as a bunch of people, and just have a good time. And then
Yeah.
Sunday we would never speak to each other because we hated each other, and then Monday we'd start over again because
There
we
it
had the
is.
discipline.
Yeah.
Not that paid off for me, but I think if most people, it should pay off.
It sounds lovely.
The discipline. So when did you meet your husband?
So we met towards the end of my college. We're both
So
around
it
the
is
same
the
age.
college, yeah.
Yeah, end of like senior year, towards the end. Like he kind of met me towards the end of my tennis college career, and then and so we kind of like got jobs in various parts of the country. Did a little bit.
Where are you from
distance.
originally?
Massachusetts.
Did you go back home after that?
After college, because I got my J&J job, Johnson and
Oh,
Johnson.
so you
in
moved to New
Brunswick.
Jersey. You moved
I
to
know.
New Brunswick. What a
You know where I
nightmare.
lived? I lived around the corner from Stress Factory.
Oh shit!
So
Well,
I
that's
would-
a nice little area. Oh, I think by the time you were there, I don't know how old you are, but I think by the time you were there, it was nicer. It didn't used to be that way when I was at Rutgers.
Yeah, and when
It was a
you're
little
like,
weird, but-
I was what when you got 21, 22, and then you still enter J&J with a kind of a class of people in it's called the Finance Leadership Development Program. So you get to party in like a college town
Yeah.
again, so it's kind of fun, and we had a good time. I traveled a lot for that work, and but I always had traveled to California for tennis growing up, because this is pre-college. You got to play all those USTA tournaments. You got to
Yeah.
get ranked in the nation. It's
Wow.
a whole thing, right? So I was ranked like top 50, and then you have to be like number 1 in your area. I was New England. That was like my section. And to get endorsed for the national tournaments, you have to be like number 1 or number 2.
Wow.
So it is quite a system that that my parents, that I give credit to, like immigrate here, and they figured it out. And big part was I have an older brother, and he's navigated that system and then kind of taught my parents. So
Wow.
yeah.
And so, when did you decide to do comedy? I mean, when did that come up? You like always thought about it, or because
I mean, I think
me and Attell, we came out of college doing.
Yeah, I know. I definitely have a different path. Like my people, like some people know me in high school, like, you're such a serious tennis player.
Yeah.
What's going on? And then they see a set, like, wait, what? And I go, yeah. I mean, I think it was just always there a little bit.
Well,
So
what was it like you were watching on TV that you were like, I got to do this? Because I assume it's watching that does it.
So my dad didn't really love TV in the house, but one thing that he loved when he came here was Seinfeld. And so I know that sounds maybe like cheesy, but it's the truth.
How is that cheesy?
Yeah, and it really was on. My dad's very, very funny. Was very funny, and he just was the kind of the guy cracking up at parties. He was kind of serious too, very serious man, but also like the person that was
Jerry
joking around.
Seinfeld is extremely serious, and he knows how to put it on when he's on, because if you meet him in person, he's not very funny. It's odd that it's the most successful sitcom almost ever, and how funny it is, and how funny it holds up.
Right.
But he's not a fun guy. So
I've never met him.
What you're saying, your dad being funny, but doesn't seem like a fun guy. There's lots of people like that,
Yeah, he was very serious the way he kind of
Yeah.
approached
Well,
my
sometimes
brother and
people
I. Yeah.
got it, I guess, that
But he loved cracking jokes. He loved watching Seinfeld. He liked Michael Richards' character coming in the door. That physical humor.
everybody liked that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when you,
Yeah.
I know that they hated when people would applaud when he'd come in because that was like an old thing. They were trying to get rid
Right.
of these things from past sitcoms
Right.
where everybody would just clap when somebody came in.
Mm-hmm.
But people couldn't help themselves.
Yeah.
Like that's how
So
people were
fun.
so excited to see him come
Yeah.
in a stupid way of coming in all the time that they couldn't help themselves. And Larry David probably hated it, but couldn't stop how
Yeah.
entertaining it was.
So I think there was like enormous influence, but I was doing things in life that were serious, but those were inside. So I remember that I'll tell you this very, very quick freshman year. So when you're any sport in college, but we went, spring break, right? Is around.
Yeah, spring break.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get
wherever you went, Panama City Beach. I don't know, wherever you went, but we would go,
Daytona.
they would take us to cool places like they would like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, but it's not fun. We're doing 2-a-days. You're practicing twice a day.
Oh.
It's not the same.
No,
Yeah. But so my freshman year, they took us to LA, whatever. And we are playing USC and UCLA. I think that's kind of
makes sense.
and then one night we got to do something and the coaches in our warm-up track, they didn't even let us go home and change. In our track, like warm-up suits, they took us to a comedy club and Jay Leno was performing. And this is my freshman year. So I'm like 17 or 18 years old.
He was already finished with the
I think he was.
I don't know how old you. I have no idea how old you are
but
at all.
I think he was.
It seems like you've lived this life already, so you must be at least in your 30s.
I am. I'm in my 30s, and we can play a guessing game later. But no, it's
I'm just trying to figure out if he was still on the Tonight Show when he did.
Yeah, and so I can figure that math out, but. He was, I think, do you know in Manhattan Beach or Hermosa Beach is like a comedy store club?
Yeah, I think he goes there it was a small club.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just loved performing all the time, even when he was on the Tonight Show. It was
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
And I heard he was so I think that's where we went and we saw Jay Leno.
Pretty exciting, right?
It was crazy. And they put us front row and he ripped us apart. Because we were all matching.
He's a pro. I mean, I don't like him, the many things he did to people and stuff like that. But there's no question. In fact, he was one of the reasons I got into comedy because before he got that show, he was hilarious on Letterman all the time.
Yeah.
He would just be a guest. And I thought he was so funny. And he's a real professional comedian. So he knows how it's done.
Right.
So it would make sense that he'd be able to riff that good because he's been doing it for decades.
And it was so obvious. Look at what, like, our coaches are just the worst. They didn't let us change.
He wasn't supposed to host that show. He was supposed to be a comic for his whole life. That's his thing.
So that's a vivid moment where I was like, that was awesome. And I never stopped going to just stand-up shows, regardless if that was a big thing for my husband and I at the time, date night. Anytime I was like, all right, let's just go to a comedy club. And I've always admired stand-up from afar. And then it came into, I never thought it would be doing it, to be honest.
And are you doing well? Again, I just met you, so I don't know. Like, it seems like it's going well. I saw you were opening for David Tell and Gary Goldman. That's a big deal.
I feel like it's going, I've been able to navigate the New York scene pretty, I would say, like, fairly fast. I've been doing some really great shows, festivals.
You're working with Mark Norman too.
I host. They've been able to be a regular host for their great show, Good Eggs. I run my own show called Top 5 Comedy, but Attell has got to do a bunch of like road stuff with him. Bonnie McFarlane, who I love too.
Nobody knows who that is.
Yeah, no, I love her.
Kidding.
I love her.
I love her.
I love her so much. Yeah, she's
I've
the best.
known her for a long time. And what are you saying? You open for her sometimes?
Yeah, we just
she usually doesn't care for other women. So
January, she and I went to Baltimore. She was in Baltimore. There's a club down there.
And she was nice to you?
She's great. I love Bonnie.
Well, that says more than anything you could ever say, folks. This woman is obviously a genius. Somehow has tamed Bonnie McFarlane. She doesn't befriend anyone. She must really like you.
I don't know if I never said we're like besties.
No, but I'm saying
she's
been
been kind to me.
What?
Yeah,
Mike,
she does. She's done my.
And play that back.
You could send it to her
too, Dave. I think it's just you.
No. Let's face it.
She's done my show, Top 5 Comedy, multiple times.
Bonnie and I are very close. But she doesn't have a reputation for being friendly. I mean, that's the fun of her.
I know. I love.
That's the
She's the
cat,
best.
so.
I loved spending time with her in the green room. She's
Sorry,
great.
I-
Yeah, I did.
Funny
She's the
every time.
best. I want you to record that, Mike, and like send it to Bonnie directly because I'm a big fan of her. I've actually worked with her husband too. I opened with him at Governor's.
Mike
at
opens for him. a
yeah,
lot.
with Rich Voss. Yeah, I was at Governor's. I go to Governor's a bunch sometimes. Actually, it tells the one who told me. He's like, hey, check out Governor's. You got a car. Go do. And James is so nice there. So
Yes,
yeah.
he is
I'm
terrific.
really-
So and you drink, so that's a big factor for him.
And he knows.
That's how you
He
get
always
work.
tries to get me to
Oh, no.
drink before my set, and I go,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
James.
yeah, he's
He's
bad
always
that
like, what
way.
do you want, sweetheart? And I go, listen, I'm just gonna. I can't wait till after, but I got to do the set. You want me
You-
to do well, James? Don't you?
You have to drink with him if you want to get by there. This is why I've told Olga to leave, just because she shouldn't be drinking anymore.
And Olga and I are friends, so I know Olga. Yeah, yeah.
But
she's
I'm
great.
saying, drinking is not for her. If she wants to get ahead, I've told her this 100 times, and she's so terrific as a comic.
Yeah, she is.
But and Governors has been incredibly nice to her in in a crazy way. But yeah, James is hilarious, old school 80s guy. Always
Yeah.
wearing a 3-piece suit,
I love
and
it.
such a fun guy and a nice guy. But you got to drink with him if you want to get in the club. And I love that because I feel similar.
Yeah, I
I
just
love
drank.
the party after. The hang after has always been. That's why it was fun. Oh, you didn't? Did you come with us to the bar after Don't Tell Mamas?
I had to run to another show.
See,
Yeah,
not cool.
I know.
Had
I
to
had
put
another
it off.
spot, so which I didn't try to tell you when I first met you. Remember, you're like, hey, you weren't that person that was like, hey, I got a lot of spots tonight, But I did. I
Smart
had
move.
to. I had to go. I had to run. But it was yeah. James has been really great to me. They've been such a nice. They've been really
That's nice.
a lot of good shows I've done there. I've really
Do you
enjoyed
have a
that.
car?
I do.
Perfect.
And it's what Attell recommended. He gave me this advice. He goes, you have a car, take advantage of it. And he said, go check out. And that was at that time I wasn't navigating Governors. So he said, go. And then the car does help me a lot. Like
Who has?
the car has helped me.
Oh, the
It
car.
does,
Yes.
because I can kind of do things independently. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When I first started, the car was the reason I got out of comedy because I had to, the MC had to drive all the comics around, and some
Yeah.
of those comics were extremely nice, and I'm friends with them forever.
Yeah.
And the other ones were such pieces of shit. I didn't want to go on the road anymore.
Oh,
In fact, one of them I just saw the other day, and I thought he was dead, finally of AIDS, and I'm so angry that he was still alive.
Jesus.
Sorry, it was really bad. I can't
Savage.
tell you on the show because I don't want to talk about it, but I'll tell you later.
All right. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's very much so. Catalina from Chile is here. Hi, Catalina.
Catalina.
Yeah. So then, why'd you get married?
Why did I get married?
I mean, if you wanted to do comedy, it's difficult to be married.
Yeah, but I was still like very much in corporate America, like those years after college. And then,
So you really weren't planning to get into comedy.
no, I was, and then about into my, I want to say mid to late 20s, I started writing, just writing comedies, dramedies. I was writing a feature. I just went straight into writing a movie, and I started submitting them to festivals. They would place here and there.
Oh, that's
So it was like, I really loved the writing. I didn't realize that, but I was having such a juxtaposition of my corporate America world, West Coast, East Coast, being Indian American, all this stuff, and working in the tech world, that I wanted to write about it. So I have this screenplay that I was almost trying to actually get made at one point, and then all this stuff hit with the pandemic and all that stuff. But it's okay. I just kept writing and kept writing, and then I think I just secretly probably wanted to do stand up. And then about a few years ago, I have a really good friend. Actually, this is my husband Dave. He's white. He's a white Jewish man.
What?
Half Jewish, half Catholic. He's not that religious though. I say he's white for a reason, because his best friend in college is also Dave,
Oh no.
but he's black. So it's
what?
and he became my good friend and introduced us. So it's like Black Dave, Brown Dave, White Dave.
Wow, that's
I know.
hilarious.
Isn't that great? And we're three, like we are all three. Just he started doing comedy. Black Dave started doing comedy. His name's Dave Williams, and in London.
Oh.
And he came over to New York. I was like, hey man, I'll why don't you do a spot in New York City? I'll come with you. He's like, you're not going up. I'm not going up without you. And he pushed me to do my first like mic,
Wow.
and it really and then I couldn't stop. And I was like, I love it. So I really do. Yeah, I know. Isn't that and then I just felt like I needed to work probably even harder, because I feel like I probably came late to the game a little bit. So compared to
maybe.
yeah,
Maybe not.
I don't know.
And it's obviously that you can write. Makes sense. I mean, you're obviously very smart, and so you're probably a good writer. I mean, for movies and stuff. I mean, obviously your jokes are good because you're smart, and it's hard to write a joke, and it's hard to write a script, and you have to have, again, discipline,
Yeah, it's the
and
worst.
you have to know how to do it, and it takes a lot of work.
Did you hear Amy Poehler when she was introducing adapted and original
Yeah, yeah,
screenplay? I
yeah.
love, as William Shakespeare said, writing is a bitch. I don't know if I can swear. Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I love her too. She,
Yeah.
you know, she's not a stamp, but a lot of people ask, who do you
No.
look up? I love Amy Poehler so much. She's also from Massachusetts,
Oh, is that right?
2 towns over from where I grew up.
Her
Yeah.
and Tina Fey together are incredible.
I love it. Yeah.
That was the best part of the Saturday Night Live 50-year anniversary.
The Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was
the
good.
best part.
That was good.
They were amazing when they hosted the Golden Globes. It's like Steve Martin and Martin Short. I mean,
So
those
good.
two women are incredible.
Good writing.
And
Yeah.
you know, Tina Fey is a genius. You know, this is the way I picture you. You know, like real smart, and you know, it's going to work out.
Well, you know, just try to keep.
But yeah, Amy
Yeah.
Poehler is really, really good.
Yeah.
I like her too. And you watched the Oscars, you said, right?
I did.
You like it?
Yes, I did.
So let me just say a couple things about that. Actually, first of all,
Yeah.
our Oscar results will be next week, which doesn't matter, but not like we have anything else to do. I didn't like that. I was really upset about the James Bond tribute. I love James Bond, and I felt
Oh yeah.
it was bothering me. I don't know, like their voices are good, but something was wrong. Not just with the songs they chose, but I don't know. They only did 3 songs. It wasn't really a tribute.
It was a little confusing at first.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
what is going
confusing.
on?
What is going on?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was like,
So
what?
who's Lisa? I don't know who that is. She's saying "Live and Let Die." She's really pretty. I think she said the Doja Cat saying "Diamonds Are Forever," and I like her, but something was wrong. And I don't remember what the third song.
Third
the
one-
third song was singing Adele, and I don't think they hit it.
And I was like, shouldn't Adele sing this?
Yeah, well, where's she? Exactly. Well,
was
I guess that
confused.
was the gag, that they were getting other people to sing the songs, but that I wouldn't have chose that. I mean, well, whatever. I'm old, so it's different. But yeah, the songs that I wanted, Duran Duran. But did you know? Because I just found this out today. When Adrian Brody, do you know what I'm going to say? When he talked about his wife's kids.
So his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
So I actually missed that part. So fill me in. Yeah.
Well, Mike, I don't know whether you know this either. This is real.
I know he
fucked up.
won. Yeah.
Yeah, he won, and I was really annoyed because I really wanted Timothée Chalamet to win, because not just for my friend Scotty, but I thought he was terrific, and I hated that movie so much. And he gave the longest
Brutalist, yeah.
acceptance speech in the history of the Oscars, which is rude as shit.
Was it longer than Kieran Culkin's? Because Kieran's
yeah.
was also pretty bad.
No, it was the longest speech ever,
Oh,
because they were
God.
playing him off twice, and he told him to stop.
And Conan did a whole thing. Like,
Exactly.
I know.
It's rude. He goes,
Actors just don't
and
give
he
it.
said, "No, it's okay. This is my second time." When Julia Roberts won her first time, you know, let her go. And that was fine. And nobody had a problem with that. If it was your first time, and like if you were Demi Moore and you won and you wanted to go along, we can accept. I didn't want her to win, so I was really glad that girl Mikey Madison won. She was terrific. And Demi Moore didn't deserve it for this. If you're giving a Lifetime Achievement Award of bad acting, she's not horrible, but I mean, best actor, I don't know, you know, but you know, we can let it go because you're winning a Lifetime Achievement Award. And the fact that Kieran Culkin, he could talk as long as you want, because if you're playing Fuller from Home Alone and you win an Oscar, and like when your brother is the biggest star on the planet and somehow you usurped him, if I use that correctly, I mean, you should talk as long as you want.
I
But
also
this
like
guy-
that movie a lot, A Real Pain. I don't know if
I didn't
you didn't
see
see
it. Yet.
it. I
No, you
oh,
must have liked it because I heard the writing was incredible.
It was so. I saw it over Thanksgiving because when it first came out,
Yeah.
and I was so happy
No, I
to
need to
see
see
it.
that one.
It was
Yeah.
very good.
And I like Kieran Culkin. I was telling him last week that I met him. I got to meet him in a play, after a play he did called "This Is Our Youth" with him and Michael Cera, and he was so nice and
Oh, good. Okay,
terrific
that's
in
good.
the
Because
show.
the end of his speech was a little irritating, like with all the like about having the kids, and I was like, all right, can you chill
But-
out?
oh, he was right, having that fourth kid. Well,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was-
being funny.
Yeah, it was fine.
That's all right, as long
Yeah.
as it wasn't. And the problem with Palestine is, you know, whatever.
Right,
so-
right.
Anyway, Adrian Brody's stepkids are Harvey Weinstein's kids. He married Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife.
Oh my
I
god.
had no idea. I just found that
I
out
didn't even know what his
today.
personal life was.
It was
yeah.
Exactly. Who knew? Wow. and he thanked them, whatever their names are. They've
That's-
probably been kept out of the newspaper because, you know, what a Jesus Christ.
It's so annoying when actors ruin the image of themselves through these stupid speeches
Yep.
because I think of him in what is it? Like the Wes Anderson movies, Darjeeling Limited. He's in that one, right?
Who?
Adrian Brody.
Oh, I hate Wes Anderson, so I don't know.
And then he obviously did Succession a little bit. He's done so much, but
Adrian Brody was in Succession too.
yeah.
With Kieran.
I don't know. I forget which season, but he was. He played this.
I thought he just wasn't around.
He
Since
played
his
some
last
rich
Oscar.
guy. Yeah, that they were pitching. Yes, to. But anyways, it's that's too. So it was an awkward speech. Is what it was. Kind of. It just went on too long.
It wasn't that it was awkward. It's just India and Dash. Anonymous says, yeah, the pianist.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, they're not married, so there's which is even more awkward, I guess. It's not even stepkids, and he mentioned them anyway, which is nice. They've probably been through a lot.
That's true.
So
I guess empathy.
Nice. It was nice. His speech wasn't hard. They say it was longer than The Brutalist.
That's what I said. I don't know. Do you watch Indian films? Bollywood? Have you ever tapped into Bollywood?
My favorite film is Bend It Like Beckham.
It's a good film.
And
yeah.
I love Indian cultured movies. So I love Never Have I Ever, which is one of the greatest TV shows I've ever seen. Never got all 4 seasons. Incredible. I love that. So I tried to watch that combination one with that beautiful, beautiful girl that took place half people from LA and half Indian. I can't think of the name. It's a romantic comedy, but it was boring. So I think you have to go all Indian or
well, I was just joking.
Who's that beautiful girl? God, she was so for a while. She was.
Are you talking? She's an actress.
Yeah, she was the most beautiful.
Priyanka Chopra, or
no, but she's beautiful too.
Yeah,
but one before, she was the prettiest person I've ever seen in my life. She was Indian, very big Bollywood. Tried to make it here and kind of made it a little bit. I'd say about 15 years ago. Can't think of her name.
Okay, well,
she's huge in Bollywood.
In Bollywood, Aishwarya Rai was who I.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay,
that's the one.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know she was really trying to make it in U.S. Maybe I was.
Yeah. They were because she was so beautiful.
She won a Miss India and all that stuff.
Yeah. So she was.
She is beautiful.
Some crossover movie
and just great. She's in some of my favorite films that I grew up on.
Tell me what they are, and I'd like.
Well, one that I love is Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam.
Huh? No, I'm saying you're gonna have to write them down.
Okay, I'll write them down. But I was like,
how dare you speak that way to me? I don't know what you said, but it's
I know
trouble.
It's fine. And I found out I was like, oh, I didn't see the Brutalist yet, and
don't
3.5 hours, and I go, that's just as long as a Bollywood film. You need an intermission. That's how Bollywood films are.
Is that right? They're long.
They're very long.
Why?
Because, there's an excuse because it's almost like there's a musical pieces in it.
Yes, I know that.
So that kind of is the reason like people get so excited for it. Those songs will sometimes make the movie more famous than the actual.
I know that's true. I get you. I know what you're saying.
They are very long.
But I don't understand the length. All the movies that were nominated, we've talked about, and everyone agreed, including I teach at the Montclair State University.
Oh, cool.
And they all everything is 20 minutes too long. Everything is going too long. I don't understand why the Marvel movies need to be that long, and I don't understand why every movie needs to be. I thought we were cutting it down. I thought people's attention spans stink. Why are we making them longer?
I know.
The Brutalist was unnecessary. I recommend not watching it.
And then they nominate films that no one's seen because no one.
Yeah, well, they got to cut that back to 5.
Yeah,
instead of
3.5 is too long.
Oh,
yeah.
We're not running out of time, right, Mike? We're okay. Old man yells at cloud.
Is that your
Mike? We're okay, right?
We have till 7:30.
Oh, so, okay, so let's cut out now. Where I'm going. I have a little game.
All right.
For our friend.
I love
Shivani,
games.
Our new friend. I hope you'll like this. It's
I'm
tennis oriented, of course.
Okay. I don't like losing, so.
Oh, good.
I feel like I'm gonna lose.
It's a thing that you have to guess or name the person, the tennis player.
Okay.
They're all very famous.
Okay.
But I and believe me, I tried to get pictures of these very famous tennis players without holding rackets, without being in their tennis gear. You can't find them. There's no pictures of them in any other outfits on the internet except them hold. It's like I was trying to find a picture of you not holding a microphone. It's almost impossible. And I can't stand, please, no offense. I can't stand pictures where people are holding the microphone, like their Facebook photos or Instagram, like, things.
Yeah.
I don't know why it bothers me. I guess because it's too obvious.
Everything bothers you.
What, Mike?
I think because everything bothers you.
That's true. Everything bothers me. It's like
I wasn't gonna guess that, but it makes
I mean,
sense.
listen, I have a lot of pictures online where I'm holding a microphone, but it's just I'm always just looking for the one. Like, you don't have Twitter, which I'm surprised
I
because I
know.
put this out on Twitter with a very nice picture of you
Oh, really?
out holding a microphone.
Oh, I'll try to look for it though.
yeah.
So I might have like a weird account that I don't use.
It's okay. I just usually promote it. I mean, my two things, Twitter and Instagram. That's the best I can do.
I'm not a big yeah, and I don't do TikTok either. Which
No,
is,
me neither. I can't. I can't.
I don't love
can't
social
handle
media,
it.
unfortunately. But
Well, you have to.
I
That's
know.
why I was surprised you. I understand not being on X or Twitter, whatever it is, but you want to make it in comedy. Look, I don't ever want to be on social media. It's a pain in the ass for me.
I know.
To put that Instagram out today, like I did, saying you're going to be on the show, takes me hours. I hate it, but you have to. You must have a social media presence. Look at the people that are getting comedy gigs are unfortunately people that just have Instagram followers and they're not funny. It's a problem with.
It's my biggest flaw. I admit it. I know it. I'm doing minimal amounts. I know I need.
But have you seen what goes on with the girls that aren't funny?
Oh,
that they're just putting on
me.
Stuff where they're talking to the audience. I'm like, boy, they don't even care if people laugh. They just care about people following them. There's a problem. It's
I know.
Frustrating.
It is. It's hard to stomach that, but I know that I'm gonna have to find my way of just doing it and mentally getting through it because
you're gonna have.
I don't enjoy it. I know. You're right. No, you're right. I keep it. I know it's my worst enemy right now. It's like,
and it's not even that you have to put you performing, which of course would be good. I never do it. I don't know why. Well, I know why. I stink. So that's one thing, but you should put it up. You have to put something up, some form of content every once in a while. I just do this thing once a week, and it's the best I can do.
No, I hear you. So there's a lot of stuff, little things I'll promote, but I have to probably do more clips of myself.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. So
you're right.
Let's go to the first picture.
All
right.
See
if you can guess who this person. You'll never guess this ever. You will never guess this.
Should I go?
Yes.
Billie Jean King.
What? You got it on the first try? Yes, of course. It's Billie Jean King. And if
I
we
love
go to
her.
the
You know her
picture,
her great line?
Yeah, what is it?
Pressure is a privilege. That's her.
Oh,
that's a great line,
that's
right?
Her winning it all.
Right at the US Open. Yep.
And then this next photo.
Yes, she played Billie Jean King.
Did she? You know your stuff. Exactly.
Emma
Go to the next
Stone.
photo. That's right. There she is, the most beautiful woman Emma Stone playing. I mean,
now she's got short hair. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate that story. Sorry. And then the next one is
she also produced her team produced Real Pain. Yeah.
So anyway, Billie Jean King, I love her. I love that she's part of the ceremonies now. They're showing the respect for this incredible woman. She's won all 4 Opens, Wimbledon 6 times, the US Open 4. But interestingly, also served on the board of Philip Morris. Do you know what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because Virginia Slims used to run the Women's Tennis Association. They sponsored it.
Of course they did, because they probably at the time.
At the time,
that's what they could get.
Funny.
Oh, that's such a
she's
bad
on this
combo.
Fucking cigarette
Poor
board.
thing.
Philip Morris, the worst, company ever. And it's sports related. You just can't. This is what I teach, in school. I'm like, I don't know how to explain this to you that this was some reason okay back in the day.
That's terrible.
That a cigarette company sponsored women's tennis. Well, they couldn't get, a lot of people when she was starting out. So
yeah, she's a big part of Title IX,
she actually formed the Women's Tennis Association.
I wouldn't have had the opportunity to have a scholarship if it wasn't for her.
Right.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Coming out.
Great start.
Kind of stuff. Incredible. Yeah. I thought I started easy.
You're proving you're not sexist right now.
Oh, no, I'm totally sexist. Okay. I'm just saying.
Mike, I tried. I tried to help him, and I can't even help him.
Well, I like being comedy sexist. I'm like, can you imagine a woman playing? Isn't that incredible? It's funny because now, well, I think the women's tennis is like the most. That's what people like for women's sport. Like women's basketball is getting better thanks to Caitlin Clark.
Sure.
And it's funny that the other people don't seem to get how important she is to basketball. They're very jealous.
Yeah.
But you should be grateful. You're all going to get raises thanks to this woman, because now I'm interested in the WNBA, which I never thought would happen.
It has to be entertaining. And
right.
I think women's tennis is actually sometimes more entertaining than men's tennis.
Women's tennis is 10 times more entertaining than men's tennis. Yeah. You're absolutely right. So it's a big deal that here's the thing.
As impressive
as gymnastics. Nobody cares about the men's gymnastics. We all want to see women's that and women's ice skating. And those are the time that things shine. But tennis is the real deal. The other ones come every 4 years. So it's like it's big. Coco Gauff is fantastic. I got to see her live.
Yeah.
Let alone we'll get to this.
Great.
So let's see who our next picture is, Mike.
Okay, so
does she
your
have to do?
connection, what is the
You're-
connection? So she is married to Pete Sampras.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
was hoping
Yeah.
you would know the reference. Go to the next
Yes,
one, Mike.
Yep.
I was saying, why am I showing
And
this?
that's Billy Madison. Yeah, the
That's
movie.
Billy Madison.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's,
they're still together, right?
They are still together.
Good for.
And then
I
if you
love
go
Pete Sampras.
The next one,
Yeah.
everybody liked him. He was a little boring,
He is a
but
little bit,
yeah,
but
which is a problem
it's really
because
fun
I
to
grew
watch.
up with the other ones. Well, again, we don't want
Okay.
to talk about anything yet. He won everything but the French Open.
Yeah, I always remember him losing
Won
the first round.
7 Wimbledon titles.
He just couldn't figure it
5
out.
US
He
Open.
couldn't figure out
the French.
red clay.
But that when you win that, you deserve that clay. That's insane. And dude, he's not practicing on that as growing up.
Yeah, but you
practicing
have
on
an
that.
opportunity no one. Yeah, you're not Nadal or you're Spanish and you're playing.
Yeah.
But they play. What they do is they have all these tournaments that get you ready. Like you're playing all
For
these
the other ones. Yeah.
for it's like same thing with Wimbledon, same thing with US
Is
Open.
the French one first usually?
So it's Australian Open's
Australian,
January,
right.
French is May, Wimbledon's July. And then US Open's August, September. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Let's.
But he
go
went
to
out in class. He
This is gonna be
retired
a tough one.
classy. Okay.
Maybe, but you know your history, and I like that. And the reason why I'm doing this, because I always like when you're in comedy, I feel like you actually have a connection to the history of stand-up comedy. When people get into comedy, if they don't know for one thing, if they don't know David Tell is, you're an asshole, and he's not even the history of comedy, and yet he is. I only say it because he's the best comic ever, and everybody knows it. But it's just funny because he's my friend. So I always think, well, how can he be the history? Like Sarah Silverman is my other friend. So I'm like
her. Yeah, I saw her.
She's
She's the best.
What do we call it? Like a pioneer. But I'm like, well, I'm just saying that because she's my best friend. But she is, right? So it's like
she's
weird.
from New England, New Hampshire, which
That's right,
that
that's
mess, all that New England. Yeah.
So it's weird, but yeah, and of course you want to know about the history of comedy before then too.
Yeah.
And I feel like you would, and that's why I thought you would be good at this.
No, this is super. I love this. I didn't even think you would give me the partner of a tennis player, but that's great. Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that funny? I thought it was a funny way to start. So
I
what's
love
the
that.
next one, Mike. It's a tough one.
Ooh.
I tried to get the pictures without. It's old school.
I'm gonna try. This is was my first feeling. I don't think I'm right. Margaret Court.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, you are correct.
Oh,
very
my
well
God.
done. Yeah, go to the next one, Mike.
Really? She's got some controversy around
Yes,
her.
she has.
Yes.
That is her in her tennis outfit. She's
I can't
from
believe
a
that's
long time ago. She's
I'm
kind of the
impressed
original.
I got that, to be
And
honest.
then the next one is just
it's not very humble.
I think it's her winning. And now, so she won everything back in the 60s. She's Australian.
Wow. Yes.
Won the Australian Open 11 times.
Yeah.
Won the French Open 5 times. Wimbledon 3 times, the US Open 5 times, but doesn't care for blacks or gays.
Yes, so that is the controversy. She is. I think that was a bad. I forget when she said that, but
it's when she became a born again Christian, which I think after she won all these
so
titles.
now she has a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah,
that's
So,
the problem.
Yeah, that's too
But
bad.
I love the fact that you're like a thing for women's tennis, and then like, yeah, but not the blacks or the gays. So it's kind of hilarious.
You think her and Billie Jean are just besties? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I think everybody's trying to distance themselves.
I
from her.
would.
It's
Yeah.
too bad being
That
a
is
living
too-
legend, but you're gonna say stuff like that, like the Amelia Perez lady. That's what you get.
Well, she said it in an Australian accent, so it sounded hilarious.
Oh, that's true. It probably sounds a lot better with an Australian accent.
That's true. Just like
Just like
what's
the
that?
Amelia Perez lady.
Who's that
Spanish
influence?
lady.
That did, well, we'll get into it later. That
No, what?
Australian. Did you guys watch that kind of docudrama that about the Australian wellness influencer that lied to everyone about having cancer?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Neither of you? Okay. I forgot the actress's name, but she was. They're all Australian. So much Australian accent
I
going
have
on
something
there.
to say about that later.
Okay. All right.
After the cameras.
Okay.
Okay, the next one. You better get this, or you're racist.
Arthur Ashe.
Yes.
You made me.
I know, that's what makes it so funny.
Oh my God. But that is still hard because he's not funny.
I know. I was
That is
trying to make him.
but the glasses
again.
give it away.
I
And
know. Obviously, you would not have been racist, but good for you. And the
Arthur
next one
Ashe
is-
Stadium.
of course,
Best
winning,
stadium.
right? So if you go to the next one, Mike, there he is,
Aw.
winning, and with that's the exact haircut I had when I was 17. And if you go to the next one, exactly,
Yep.
fucking Arthur Ashe Stadium. That's where the U.S. Open finals are held. That is, it's named after this guy. He won the Australian Open, he won Wimbledon and U.S. Open, but of course was important not only because even though he only won like one apiece or something, or maybe he won a couple multiple.
Yeah.
First black guy to do it. So
Best, yep.
incredible.
And great stadium.
And apparently, you know, a good person as well that died very young, and a good spokesperson for, you know, the exact opposite of Margaret Court.
Right. Big inspiration.
Yeah. Nobody wants to rename this stadium as they do in Australia. They've been saying, please rename the Margaret Court Stadium to anything else. You might as well just name it "We Hate the Jews," because you can't have it named after her.
Oh my God.
This
Have you
is
been?
not
You've
just-
been to this? You've been to the US Open?
I have, and you know, sat all the way on top, which is the worst seat. You want to be there to say you've been there, but it is not a fun
It's up
place
there
to watch if you're not in the first section there, you know.
Yeah, it's either way, it's like such a great experience.
Meanwhile, I was watching this past August, and I see my neighbor sitting in the thing. He's right next to Coco Gauff's coach. And I'm like, who was that? Joe? You know, like Marge Scott Stadium. Nice. She's that Marge Schott she's the racist from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Get a life, Jews. Thanks a week late. That's my favorite line from Curb Your Enthusiasm. When do you get anyway?
Yeah, I love Curb. Yeah.
So yeah,
great.
that yes, my neighbor was there. He's always out on the street. I see him all the time. Joey. He's I'm like, did I see you? And he's, oh yeah, that was me. I mean, it's incredible when you see your friends on television. Like, it's right out of Seinfeld.
Yeah, I know. I know. It is nuts. Yeah.
You were eating an ice cream in a really weird way. Okay, what's the next one? Another racist one, because which Williams is it?
Venus. Duh.
Nice.
Nah, easy.
I would not have known.
She's a little
I
body.
would not have known.
I mean, I just know them so well. I love them.
I love that you know this. It was a test, and I would not have known. I would have failed, and everybody would have called me racist, and it's horrible.
She's the
You
best.
did great.
Yeah, they were my people.
If you go to the next one,
up
because they were brown. I mean, is that a thing, or just because
they were the people that like I got to watch when I was kind of going through tennis? Like they were just they were the stars.
The
yeah,
stars at the time.
So like that's who I got to be inspired by and watch and look up to. I mean, especially Venus, because she's a little older and she had even a bigger career at one point.
But I think Serena did better
later
overall.
Overall,
Venus 5 Wimbledon times and U.S. Open twice.
Yeah.
Quite amazing.
And she had
obviously set a precedent for then her and her sister. Again, the reason Coco Gauff is there and having a good time and there's no controversies because these two did it before her.
And that's why I think King Richard, the movie, kind of established.
We never talk about that here.
Okay, because of Will Smith.
That's right.
Okay.
No, go ahead though.
But I think the narrative they told there was about Venus, like that she pioneered for her sister.
I wanted to see that movie so bad, but I will not ever. Why I hate him so much. I cannot. And I used to love him.
Yeah.
I loved every movie he was in. I would watch movies because he was in it. I thought he was so funny and cool. And I'm so upset. And anybody at this club is angry, of course, because Chris Rock is here a lot. He's a great guy. And he's upset the way this will affect his life. Chris Rock.
Yeah.
It's that bad. And the fact that they didn't run him out right then and then he got to accept that Oscar. The fact that he made another movie that was successful is pissing everybody off.
No, the fact that he went up is just like you got issues. You're a little bit obviously narcissism is kicking in at that point.
They just made that wrong move there at the Oscars. It almost made me not want to watch. But
I do love how Chris Rock addressed it in his special.
I loved it too.
He did a great job.
That
was awesome.
It's wonderful, but I know it bothers him, and you know what a bummer.
I know.
Just let's just hope
it's really bad.
Will Smith just gets nothing going his way, and his horrible wife as well. As we found, it's all her fault technically. Okay, just makes me so upset. Chris Rock's so nice. Okay, what's the next one?
Great.
It's young. Is somebody?
Oh my God, Martina Navratilova.
Yes.
I just had to look at her.
I tried to fool
you. Facial expressions.
I tried to fool you.
And it's a little. There's the shadow in her eyes, but yep, the haircut.
Well done. Go to the next one.
Wow, this is like this. No one's ever tested me like
Mike.
this.
Mike. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, there
she is.
Then you would have known her right away, right?
Yeah, I think so. But oh my God, I almost did. I did.
Martina Navratilova won all 4, what Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Right. Australia 3 times, French twice, Wimbledon 9 times, and the U.S. Open 4, and does not want trans men in women's sports. And I say, good for her. How do you feel about it? You
She
have to say
does
if you don't.
not.
She does. She wants them to not be part of women's sports. Trans people.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? It's tough. You don't have to say it if you don't want. If you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. I mean, she's just saying we're having tough time with women as it is. Are you kidding me? So she's not doing it to be. I mean, she's gay, so for her to be like, come on, I'm not saying I don't have a problem with trans people, but if you're,
has she gone backlash for her?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that
I
there's
see the point.
60% of people on her side, maybe 70%. I don't know. You don't have to say anything. It's okay.
No, it's a complicated.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated, I would say.
And
yeah.
but if you've been in the sport and she's saying I would have to play against the guy that was born a man, that's not fair. So she's there already. She's done it, and she's like, this is. And you see a lot of these girls that are in these sports, tennis, gymnasts, and they're like, come on, what are we doing here? Like, it's all because that swimmer at Penn State, that started all this. The guy who's built like a man, she's like 7 feet tall. She's incredible. I mean,
yeah,
it's not. Is it fair? Is it fair? And now that Trump's in office, obviously he's saying we're putting a stop to it. But what happens when he leaves? I guess it'll go back to whatever normal is, which I guess you let him in. We just need time. We need time to process, and they're not giving us time. They just kind of came in with it, and you need time.
Yeah.
That's all.
Are there
We'll
examples in tennis yet of this happening?
I don't think yet.
Okay.
And I think that's why she is coming out and saying it,
she's taking a stand. Okay.
She's taking a stand.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've done all that, when you've won Wimbledon 9 times, maybe you're allowed to take a stand. See if you can get this one. I'm kidding, of course. You'll never get. Oh, that's Martina Navratilova, of course. Where's she winning? Is that Wimbledon? That's Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's the Wimbledon trophy.
Wimbledon trophy, right?
The dish.
And what do they serve there? What's the dessert of choice?
The dessert of choice at Wimbledon?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know.
Strawberries and cream.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Diabetes. Yep.
She has 9 of those plates.
Yeah, she has 9 of those plates.
She just has them lying around.
Yeah, you should serve.
It's like,
you should serve your turkey.
I got another dumb Wimbledon plate. Doesn't even cherish them anymore.
I just use them as hors d'oeuvre plates.
She has them stacked on each other.
But then the men get this trophy, and the women get this dish.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the men get. Yeah, if you saw the Sampras picture, he's holding this like grand trophy. So I don't know how people feel about that, but it's
and I would definitely, if I had 9, I would definitely use one as an hors d'oeuvre tray.
Yeah,
I would absolutely do that.
I think you just. Yeah.
What is the Barry says great for Passover? That is so true. It does look like a Seder dish. Do you know about that? I just thought you might because he's half Jewish, your husband.
I know Passover and Seder. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, can I run it? Can I run it?
You're not supposed to. No.
Right.
Have you been to Passover at his parents' house? Do they?
They're not that religious. Yeah, I mean, I think.
Oh, it's because the mother is Catholic.
Mother grew up super Catholic.
Okay, and then that's the reason.
And then
if the mother was Jewish, you'd be celebrating Passover.
And then they kind of rebelled a little bit. All of these sisters, and they kind of rebelled and they're very feminist. So,
religion is all anti-women, so I can see that.
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, there's a lot of sexism in India too. So we're playing catch up here.
Yeah, every religion hates women.
Yeah,
and they're all made to keep women down.
Yeah,
Jewish religion, Catholic Church for sure. Jews for sure too, like Olga's sect.
Right,
we talk about this
yeah,
all the time. They were they're mad that. Do you know one of her mom's friends who was at the show a couple months ago? She told me once when Olga was gone, she goes, just as long as I don't mind if Olga does comedy, just as long as she knows when she gets married, she's gonna have to put a stop to that and just cook for her husband. And I'm like, are we really having this conversation?
I know.
What year was it again?
That sounds like some conservativeness in India too. But so playing sports was unorthodox when I was coming up, and so it was very cool. I know, and it's a great movie, and that's why it was really great that my parents pushed it. I joke about it on stage because they were like, she's not as smart as her brother, so you're gonna have to do something good. You're gonna have to figure something out. So
I'm so glad you like that movie.
Yeah, I do.
50 times.
I mean, again, look at what else was I going to watch as a kid? I was watching Little Giants. Do you know that movie?
I do know the movie. I've never seen it, but everybody
Icebox.
I know likes it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you about this later, but something that I'm working on because I do think it's really important. Sports in general, whether you're Indian or it gives women when they're young a confidence booster. when you're like feeling kind of
Absolutely.
alone and alienated. So that's good. That's another conversation. But I was happy to see stuff like that on TV.
Yeah.
The
Me
screen.
too.
Do you know why Martina's smiling?
Why?
Because the winner has a note for the next year's winner on the back of the plate. She wrote, "See you next year."
Wait, the what? Oh, the winner has a note on the back of the plate. That's funny. All right, let's go to the next one. This is going to be weird. No, you're not going to know him. I put this in as a trick and comedy purposes.
Like a WWE wrestler?
No. He's a tennis player.
He's
an actor too. You wouldn't know him. I was obsessed with this guy. All right, his name is Vince Van Patten. You wouldn't know him. You're not expecting him. This is for the comedy purposes for this show. His dad, if you go to the next one,
it's like Logan,
is Dick Van Patten.
Okay.
Now you're too young to probably know about him, but if you go to the next picture, he had a show on ABC back in the 70s called 8 Is Enough.
Okay.
And if you go to the next picture, you can see that it sometimes used to star Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. Well, he was only in the pilot, and they cut him out. So he could become really famous.
Oh my goodness.
Then if you go to the next one, you can see this is the Battle of the Network Stars in 1977, where they're holding him up because he had just won a big race. That's something you won't understand either. That's quite all right.
This is quite a semantic network. Yeah. Yeah.
And then here's my favorite one where Dick Van Patten is teaching tennis on VHS with Bruce Jenner.
Oh.
Not Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner. And Nicola Sheridan.
Teaching dirty tennis.
Yeah. Dirty tennis.
He's
making a comedy tennis video, but he was a really good tennis player. So his son, if you go to the next one, Vince Van Patten was he was on the circuit. And if you go to the next one,
Prince Racket.
But he was also an actor. So this is one of my favorite movies from 1980 called Rock and Roll High School. That's actually Ron Howard's brother. You know the director?
Yeah. Really?
He played this character, Eagle Bauer. I always remember because it was the funniest last name ever. And he's in that movie. And then if you go to the next one, I'll never forget this. He was playing tennis in the afternoon one day. I was a little boy. And I remember, and I was so jealous, and I wanted to be an actor. And I didn't even think about comedy, but I wanted to be an actor like this. And he was doing so bad in his match. He goes, you could hear him. They had him mic'd up, and he goes, "Get me a series." And so he said that. And then if you go to the next picture, they did. It was called Apple's Way, and it was on CBS. And I'm the only one that knows about it ever. It wasn't successful, but they gave him a series because he said it on the air. God, get me a series. They gave him a goddamn series. And look, if you go to the next picture, they gave him a series. I had the board game. And it was a stupid show. Nobody knows it. I have the opening theme song in my head. Nobody knows it. It got canceled in a couple episodes.
Who are these guys?
Exactly. Who are these guys? Nobody even knows.
Familiar.
Looks like a bad
They look
Brady
familiar,
Bunch.
exactly, because they're 70s actors, but no one knows who they are. If you go to the next picture, this board game was so fucking stupid. It was supposed to be like a ripoff of the Waltons. You know that? Like,
oh, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, exactly. The Waltons was this just a family that lives in the bushes somewhere. I don't know. So they were trying to make these. So if you go to the next one, I think it's like, look at this horrible game. Look at this. Hey, talking with grandpa, you win. I'm like, oh my God.
They tried to do everything and it failed. Wow.
Meanwhile, the reason Vince Van Patten was on the circuit at all because actually he beat John McEnroe. Early on.
Beat him alone from the Birds.
What?
Like this guy.
Oh, from the movie The Birds.
Yeah.
I thought you meant from the band.
Oh, no.
But he beat McEnroe, if you go to the picture after this, yeah. And they're still friendly. They play pickleball together.
Of course they do. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, that's great. Wow, thanks for letting me know what Apple's Way is.
Oh, you don't need to know that.
Please no, I learned something today.
You didn't need to learn that. It's completely useless.
Dave, have her guess why it's called Apple's Way.
Why is it called Apple's Way?
I was trying to think about that actually.
I'm hoping Mike has a gag for it because I don't know.
I was hoping she would have a gag for it.
Oh,
I mean,
not
like
an improv class.
I know. I mean, it sounds like a street.
I think their last name might have been Apple.
Yes, that's the actual reason.
Oh, that is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. I remember the theme song.
Like Fiona Apple? Like,
yeah.
Are they related?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bum, ba-da-da,
Yeah.
bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 Ba, ba-da-da, ba, ba-dum, ba, 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 ba. Why is that in my? I don't. Like I said, it aired like 3 times.
Yeah. Do you know why it failed?
No,
Because there was another show on ABC called How Do You Like Them Apples about another family called.
is that right?
No.
Oh, damn it! I walked right.
You're like,
into
no,
that one.
because Matt Damon said that in Good Will Hunting. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's right.
yeah.
How do you like them apples?
Yeah.
That's what he got. I got her number.
Yeah.
How do you like
Great
them
line.
apples?
So yeah.
Okay, so what's the next one? Oh, speaking of, I guess
Johnny
yeah,
Mac.
Of course.
There it is.
That's little John Mac. You know, I was on a show. He had a show on CNBC, and we got to spend some time
Recently
together.
or
No, 15 years ago.
how was it? Did you like hang out with him?
Oh, I loved it. He was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He kind of shits on pickleball.
Oh, is
little
that
bit.
right?
I think what he gets annoyed at is
I hate pickleball.
college tennis players or pro players now trying to go pro in pickleball.
That's
you don't-
ridiculous.
Because of course, because I was just in Miami a week ago, and I did some shows, but I also whatever. The comedy scenes are is meh, there because all they want you to do is roast them. But my husband's cousin, they run a pickleball company called Rockney. Shout out to Elise and Rockney.
Probably making a fortune, right?
But they are gonna, they're so we went out and played some pickleball. I mean, it for tennis, it comes very naturally,
right?
You just have to stay out of the kitchen and all that stuff.
I don't like playing doubles ever.
Pickleball.
I never
like
being
boring.
at the net, so I prefer. That's why I don't like pickleball. It's always doubles, right? That's how you play.
There are singles tournaments.
Oh,
there are. I
maybe
actually have an ex doubles player from college. She's doing the pro pickleball tour right now. So I kind of I was on a different podcast and talked some shit about pickleball, and I got called out. Yeah, on
out.
Godfrey, who's a Cellar. He's a big I was on his podcast, and he was like, we were getting into it about pickleball, and I have opinions about it. So
you should.
Yeah,
You're a pro tennis.
But it is. I'm not gonna lie.
Like
It's not.
pickleball.
It's not bad to play. It's not horrible, but it's not meant to
And
be.
what's the next picture, Mike? I think it's just McEnroe yelling at everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, McEnroe, Wimbledon 3 times, U.S. Open 4 times.
Yeah.
He was the shit.
And he's still very relevant.
So where's the next one, Mike?
Commentator.
Who's this?
Oh, I mean, Agassi and Brooke.
That's right.
No, he means.
Yeah, I meant that.
Bob Saget. Yeah. As a young guy.
So yeah, here's the next picture is Agassi, of course, winning. And then I don't think you were around then that you would remember, but the next picture is there was a huge deal when they got married.
Yeah.
You were. I wasn't sure when they got. I think it's.
I don't know
90s,
when they got. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And of course,
I was alive in the 90s.
Agassi was extremely. Their marriage fell apart because if you go to the next one, Agassi was extremely angry and jealous of her. This particular scene with her
I
kissing
didn't know that.
Joey's fingers on Friends.
I didn't know that was an
He went
impetus.
crazy. But of course, if you go to the next one, which doesn't show it, but he was on crystal meth. So he was angry at everything because he was a fucking mess.
And that's him. Now he does play a lot of
He was
pickleball.
also angry because Brooke Shields' old boyfriend was this next photo from college. So her first boyfriend, she might have lost her virginity to Dean Cain, who played Superman. That would bother any man. That's a tough one. Of course, if Andre Agassi had just stuck it out, he would have seen what Dean Cain looks like now in the next picture, and he would have been like, "Yeah, I'm okay with that."
Yeah.
But
do you know who Andre Agassi is married to?
Isn't it Steffi Graf?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still married, huh?
Mhm.
How about that?
They're lovely. Yeah. They seem to. He seems like he figured out. We were talking. There's a book, actually, Open. It's called Open by Andre Agassi. And I was actually when I was working with Gary one time, he loves that book, and we were talking about it. And so it's not. You don't have to know tennis to read his book. He's
to read whose book?
Andre Agassi's
Andre,
book by
okay,
Open. I think it's just like a generally like a really I haven't read it completely, but I know people are fans of it. So, and he's really honest and vulnerable. And
Well, he won all 4.
Yeah.
He won the Australian Open 4 times and the US Open twice. No. Yes. No. Yes. Andre Agassi. Yes. I did it twice. I'm sorry. Okay. What's this next one? This is the last one, I think. You know who that is? It's a tough one. It's true. He was a tennis player, but this is a tough one. It's a tough one.
I'm gonna just guess. Is it Jimmy Connors?
No.
I
Jimmy
thought
Connors
maybe
was
the
a
hair.
little bit more handsome.
Yeah, the teeth would not. I don't know.
Right.
Is he British?
No. You want to go to the next one, Mike? That's him young when he
Okay.
won.
No, it's not.
He used to
ringing a
play in the
bell.
30s and 40s, but you actually know who he is because if you look at the next picture,
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve Carell played him in the movie.
Oh yeah, screw that guy. I don't need to know him.
Bobby
yeah,
Riggs.
yeah, Bobby Riggs.
Yeah, no, you don't need to know him. Here he is, but
He's a
of
young
course,
boy.
But of course, go to the next one. You know, he of course played Billie Jean King.
Yep.
I remember this
Yeah.
as a little boy, the Battle of the Sexes.
Of course.
I remember watching
Didn't
it
know
on
that's what he
TV
looked like as a kid.
with this great opening, like anything you can do, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. And it was great. And you know, but it was boring as a kid because you wanted him to come out with the dogs and the distractions and stuff, and he didn't really do that.
Yeah.
But you know, it was great, and he was crazy, and he just was this crazy guy. But if you go to the next one, they were also both on The Odd Couple, which made me so happy. That was my favorite show.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
Bobby
yeah.
Riggs appeared, and then Billie Jean King came on after, and they play at this big ping pong tournament. So I think they actually really liked each other, and it probably actually helped tennis, even though he was crazy and he was a sexist. Like they call him, Oscar has to join Riggs Pigs
Yeah.
if you know he loses in the
Yeah.
bet in the show. So he showed that he was like a sexist kind of pig, but you know, but in playing that game and Billie Jean King beating him, I think he beat Margaret Court, you know. And
Oh
then,
no, yeah, they did a thing before. That's what they. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
She had to
Billie Jean
step
King
in.
beating him helped a
Yes.
lot for her and women's tennis,
Yeah.
as ridiculous as it was.
Of course.
Because he was just kind of doing a bit, you know, like in the sense, I mean, I think he really did think women were inferior, but it was also a bit like I could beat any woman, which is hilarious because I should do that and then get the shit beat out of me, which is always hilarious. It's kind of what I did on my podcast. All these women are horrible, and then I got the shit kicked out of me by all you guys. And then so it's
I
kind of
never said a
fun.
word to you.
No, I know what Shosh did.
Shosh did.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was fine. I deserved it. So yeah,
Yeah,
he won he won Wimbledon and the US Open twice, but in the 30s and 40s. Bobby goddamn Riggs.
Yeah. I was like, I'll just let the sport speak for itself. Just like Billie Jean King did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which you did. You what is the Apple it's going for $40?
$40, Dave.
I think I have one in my
You might have
storage
to buy it.
locker.
Wow.
What is happening? I don't know. Wait, Dave, he would have played for the Buffalo Bills if he hadn't blown out his knee. That's how he became an actor. Oh, you're talking about Dean Cain. Yeah. That's right. He was on Princeton. Him and Brooke Shields met in Princeton.
Oh, okay, got it.
And
Yeah.
then he played for Princeton football. And I guess he was going to get drafted to the Buffalo Bills, and that's how he became Superman. He blew out his knee.
Oh,
Pretty good
Yeah.
turn of events, I guess.
I mean, that's always the excuse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I tore my ACL.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should probably just tell people I tore my ACL.
Yeah, it's
That's why I
always
went
it.
into comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, yeah.
So, Shivani, first of all, it has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
talking to you
This
today.
was
You
very...
are a lovely person.
Thank you.
I really wish so many good things for you in the future, even though you're not really starting out, but I'm just getting to know you.
Yeah.
And I guess the comedy world and scene is too, even though I know you've been playing a lot. What do you have coming up?
I'll do just a bunch of New York stuff this week. I'll be in Atlantic City on Saturday.
Oh, that's exciting. Is that the New York Comedy Club one?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a double header
Is that
there.
the Tropicana? If they move?
It's Tropicana, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So got a double header there Saturday. Those should be fun. And then just more. I've been traveling a bit. I said Miami. I was in Vermont. I don't know if you've been up there. There's a great club up there.
I heard that.
Yeah.
No, one of our sometimes we have Molly Heckerling on.
Yeah.
Who's Amy Heckerling's daughter.
Okay.
And she comes on. She moved to Vermont after COVID. She's told me about that comedy club.
Yeah,
it's terrific. Marina Franklin has played there too.
Yeah, it's a great club. And I just did a whole weekend there with some folks, and then so I've been traveling a bit. So I'm happy to just kind of get into New York City, and then it'll be good to go to Atlantic City on Saturday, and just keep hustling next week. Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah, terrific. And Mike,
yeah,
what are you doing?
This weekend I'll be at Mohegan Sun Comics Roadhouse with Bob Kelly.
Oh, very impressive. I have nothing going on, so I don't have to worry about anything.
You're going to star in the movie, potentially, with Bradley Cooper.
Oh, right.
Just right.
Well, actually, I'm filming a movie with Sam Morril tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So I forgot about.
Well, that sounds exciting.
As you mentioned, until it actually happened. I mean, it's happening, but
I'd like to hear more about that. Okay, that's cool.
We're doing that tomorrow, and yes, of course, I'll be in the Bradley Cooper movie.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything is terrific. It was so great sharing an hour or so with you. Anonymous is saying break. Oh, maybe that's to me. Maybe that's to both of us. Maybe that's to all of us.
Thank you
And
so much.
you guys in the chat room, thank you so much. And it was wonderful talking with you and meeting you.
Thank you for having me.
I think we'll be friends for a long time. And
Thank
Mike,
you.
good luck to you on your journey. And we'll see everybody next week remotely. We go over our Oscar picks, and at some point we will be going over the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame picks, as we like to do. We like playing games.
That was so fun, that game.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, that was great.
So we'll see everybody next week. Remember, come down to the Comedy Cellar whenever you're in New York City or in Las Vegas, and we'll see you next time on Comedy Cellar Tuesdays with me, Dave Juskow.